What is service design? Hi, my name is Shawanda Asbury. I am the founder of Bumble Service Design Studio, where we help businesses and organizations meet the needs of their customers, users, or even clients. So, service design, I think it's a phrase that's been around for many years, maybe 15 or so years, or at least the concept has been around for quite a while. And so I think today, and I say today, like maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, people have been using service design. And so it can mean a lot of things, and it's been defined as in lots of different ways, of course. And so today I just want to share with you another definition, maybe something that's, a little bit clearer, something that's not so abstract, but something that you can understand and say, okay, I get it. Right. So the easiest way to understand service design is to think about customers or users. Like, okay, you have customers, you have users, and you want to understand them. And so you want to know what they need in order for you to provide relevant services, how to create some new ones, or maybe even how to improve existing ones. And so yeah, so that's our basic definition here. So it's the focus on understanding users, understanding customers, and providing them with the services they need, um, maybe maybe even want as well. Um, and so we have to not just say, okay, I have a business or I'm creating a business and I'm providing a service I think people need. I'm going to work with some people, or maybe you don't work with anyone. Maybe you just decide that, okay, I'm going to have this service and here it is. There's no thought into um, how people find you, um, how do they interact with you, how do they use your service, and also maybe you have people who are working for you, you have systems, policies. Are you thinking about those things? So it's not just about being in this in a service business isn't just about, okay, here's what I have to give to you. It's not about, oh, customer service. It's about what are we providing to the people who want to use our service? What are we doing for the people who are working in that system? So, like working to provide the service. So, maybe there are certain tools they need, maybe there's some training that's needed. I think people may automatically think of, oh, let's create an app. Well, okay, fine. Think about it like this. So, you have two local burger joints, they're next to each other. So, the first burger place decides to create an application to help their customers. And so what they do is they meet with a team of like developers, and they say, hey, we want an application to help our customers order burgers. I don't know. It's a burger place. So, order burgers, right? And so this whole process is done, by themselves. Them and maybe some people from their team. Maybe you have some people um, from the development team as well who's creating this application. Maybe they have some input, and that's it. And so you work on this thing for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, I'll say, and then you give it to your customers, and your customers like, this is not a good app. Like we we don't we can use it, but I mean it's not what we need in order to um, order our burgers. Maybe they love coming inside. Maybe they don't need an application. Maybe they need better service inside. But maybe they do need an application. And if there's an application that they're like, okay, well, I need a place to um, include my special sauce mixture that I get from you guys. Well, what if there isn't a place for that? Because you did know that a lot of customers like your sauces and they like to have a combination of them. So these are things that are helpful. These are things that you need to know. And so what service design does is it starts with the customer. So if you have a service business, we service designers believe that your customer is key. They're the key to um, your services, and so how you will develop them. And so one way you do that is you do some discovery. So you do some interviews, you talk with some customers, you get feedback from that, and there are other ways of getting information and discovering what your customers, your users, your clients, your I don't know. I mean, anyone who uses your service, anyone who comes to your business or whatever, anyone who yeah yeah. So there are plenty of things to use there. So yeah, so you talk to them, you get to know what they want, you understands their needs and all these things. And so from there, you can move on and then you define, like, okay, understand this, understand what they need. All right. And so you move forward. And so there, I guess it's hard to um, it's difficult to say, okay, you need one thing. Like there are lots of tools, there are lots of everything there are lots of things you can use. So I don't like to really recommend tools or necessarily, but just paying attention to individual business needs. And so I think it's so for me it's a little difficult to be like, okay, you do a user map or you do personas or you brainstorm or you I guess question storm or whatever. Like it's hard to really say choose one of those things, but those are tools. And so for example, you can start building user personas and you can just say, all right, um you're putting together different things about your users and you use that to move forward, and you're like, okay, well, they need this and this, they want this, um this is what they've told us, and so you move forward with that. And then you move on to then development stage. And so you start developing, doing prototypes, rapid prototypes, like doing something quickly so that you can get feedback. And so you can do something quickly, give feedback, see what they think, and then you can keep doing iterations, essentially until you get something that can be delivered. You can launch it, it's great, and it serves the purpose, it serves the needs of their people. And so that's one side of it, but then also you have to think about, all right, if we have this application, um, we need things on the other side too. So we need things in the business, for our people who are providing this service. So again, the burger place. So maybe you discover through all of this that, all right, we have this application. Where's okay, where are the orders going? Oh, right. Hey, our people need help on that side. So, all right, we need, I know, a kiosk or something that's going to connect it to this application that's going to help our people get the orders and get the like special orders and all that stuff, get the names and all that so that they can put it into the line, into the queue, so that um, the order gets in. And so, yeah, so that's just like one small way, I think, in a general business. But also things like service design in nonprofits. That's important. I know some people may think, okay, it's a nonprofit. Maybe for certain nonprofits, it's like, all right, you're providing a service, and um, sometimes there's this thinking of like, well, you're providing a service that they wouldn't have anyway, so they shouldn't complain, which I think um, isn't a good way of thinking about providing a service. So say there are two agencies. One agency, I mean, both agencies provide us the same type of service. And so, you have clients who, they maybe they choose your agency for your services. And for some reason, they did not like it and they went somewhere else. Well, you want to know why they went somewhere else because that can be, key a key a way for you to figure out, oh, where do we go wrong, what can we improve. So like that's what you want to be thinking of, like how can we improve our service. And so if you have these two agencies and the other agency is very very good at, from the beginning, maybe orientation and introducing them to services that you provide, and also doing lots of follow through and follow up, and all the things that help them feel supported, whereas your agency may just have, okay, well, here's our service, come in, you can get some information, someone will talk to you, okay, and that's it. Whereas agency B is providing something more. They're giving a full experience. And so you just won't know that if you're not talking to the people, you're not talking to your customers, you're not trying to, figure out your customers, your clients. I use those interchangeably because, there are different types of services. But you don't know that. And I know sometimes if you aren't, um, at least in a nonprofit world where your funding can depend on how many people you serve. It can depend on, yeah, I mean, how many people you serve, and lots of other factors. And if, you're losing people and you're not getting more people in because maybe by word of mouth, someone has told their friend or a family member, like, hey, agency B provides a better service than agency A. What are you going to do? How are you going to improve services so that you can have more clients, you can get more grant money, or you can keep the grant money that you, or the grants that you, the funding that you have now. So something to think about. And the same with like a government service as well, where you can have, I think of, oh, there are lots of services, but I think the DMV is everyone's go-to. It's a very, um, oh, I mean, difficult, not really, but I would say sometimes it can be a challenge getting through like the process at a DMV, just getting through the door. And I think now you have to have an appointment, of course, during this time of like pandemic and stuff like that. But you have to, make an appointment. If you don't have an appointment, then you probably be turned away or you'd be told to get the back of the line. Well, what if someone didn't see that you need an appointment to get in, right? So that's an issue. um, is there any signage around around the DMV office, around the office that says that as do you have an appointment, or um, maybe you get to you go through the line and you get to someone and you realize you don't have everything you need. And I think of an example what happened to me is I had to change my license plates, or yeah, my license plate from one state to another. So I just assumed the service was the same as it was in the previous state. And you go to the office, you pay for your um, fees, and that's it. Well, and you can also like maybe like pay property tax at the same time and stuff. And actually, it was all done online, so like it was easy. But for me, for the other state I went to, I had to go in person to pay for property tax first. And then I was like, okay, I expected to pay for property tax, but then I didn't know because there wasn't any clear information that I also had to pay like 300 extra dollars. I mean, thankfully I had, money saved, so it wasn't a problem. But imagine if you're someone who doesn't have that and they didn't know, like they weren't able to prepare for that amount, to pay that amount. They had no way of knowing. But I mean, I was surprised by it, and I was like, "Ooh!" I thought I was going to spend maybe $300 that day or $200 that day, and I ended up spending 500. And so it's just things like that where you the service needs to be better, and um, maybe one office, I was going to stick with DMV again. Maybe one office has, a nice setup. There's a number system. There's a clear like pathway. There are kiosks available. So if you just need to come in and use a kiosk, it's fine. Um, I've also seen where, or a test at least, where a DMV used kiosks for around the city. Like they had kiosks around the city, so you didn't have to go into the office, and it worked, and it worked out. So it's like choosing one. You'll choose to go to the DMV that's 20 minutes away because they have a better service compared to the one that's just, 5 minutes from you because the service is bad and you just can't go through go through that experience. So yeah, so when you're thinking about service service design and service experience, just think about that. Think about how are you getting your information to um, create your service, or how are you creating your service? Are you using any information? Are you just going with your gut feeling? Are you just saying, okay, here's a service, I'm going to paint houses and that's what I do? Are you looking at the beginning of why would someone even need their house painted? What's yeah, there are many factors to look at. Like, what is it? Are they remodeling? Are they building a new house? So yeah, so many factors, but you have to, think about these things and like how do you start there, not just I have a service, I'm marketing to these people and they'll come to me. Like you need to look at the customer, not just you, but the customer. Like where do they start in the process? How do they eventually get to you? And you want to think about how can you be involved in that very first step of that process and not just come in when it's like, okay, they've searched the internet, they've looked through Facebook, they've asked some people, and now they're looking, they found you. You want to be at that very beginning and seeing how you can, yeah, meet them where they are, basically, and provide for their needs um, in a way that is helpful. So yeah, that's my. Ooh, I didn't expect it to be this long, but that's what it is when I start talking about this. I guess I'm quite excited. But yeah, it's just yeah, just think about that. Look at when you're thinking about services, I think about that. Like, how can we improve our services in a way that's focused on the needs of our customers, of our users, of our clients, and go from there. All right, it's been great. I hope this has been helpful for you. You can definitely like and subscribe and share. Until next time, I will see you in the next video.